Matson.
Hello.
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Judge Person. I welcome everybody to court this morning. And I just want to let you know, you'll be, once it's your turn, you'll have an opportunity to speak. Can we check on that, please? So I do want to welcome everybody to court this morning and just let you know that a few things. I'm going to be repetitive in part because I see people logging in and, I just want everyone to have the same information. I want to let you know a few things. When you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all methods that we have under the law for accusing someone. That's what a ticket is. And when you give a plea, you're giving an answer or response to that accusation. And there are three options for plea: guilty, not guilty, no contest. Those are the three options. Now, guilty means I did this, okay? No contest means I'm not going to say I did it. I'm not going to say I didn't do it. I'm not contesting it. Pleading not guilty means I think the state should prove the case against me. I'm not guilty. Now, when we plead not guilty, we're really moving that case toward trial, okay? And there are steps that we take to get that case toward trial. One is a pretrial, and that docket is going to meet today. The other is an in-court pretrial. We'll have that meeting here to do any final pretrial matters and to set up and to schedule your trial. So after today, if you've pleaded not guilty, we're usually moving that case to a final setting here live in the courtroom. If you plead guilty or no contest, you're authorizing the court to find you guilty and moving your case forward. And when we move your case forward, that means I'm scheduling. I'm sorry, I've got a lot of people who left the meeting and came back in for a variety of reasons. So that usually means that we're sentencing at that point. And Mr. Matson is here. I just want to back up a little bit. He's one of the ones that got logged in due to the technical stuff. And Mr. Matson is the city's prosecutor, which means that he is actually prosecuting the case. If you pleaded not guilty, you'll have a meeting with him here on the Zoom meeting. And, that's going to actually be in what we call a separate room, a virtual room. And I'm actually going to start that room now and go ahead and have Mr. Matson. Your first person is Mr. Blythe here with the Alvin Sanderson case and with the David Christensen case. And I'm going to move Mr. Blythe. Mr. Blythe, you're here. Mr. Blythe. Well, Mr. Blythe, I'm asking you to unmute. You might be having something technical going on. I can't see it on my side. Ms. Ritz, are you able to unmute? You're next, and maybe.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm here.
I'm going to go ahead and move you over to the meeting, and I'll keep working with Mr. Blythe.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. I just want them to go ahead and just get started. Mr. Blythe, can you hear me? Mr. Blythe, Steve Blythe. Okay, well, we'll just keep working out that problem. Sometimes people are having technical issues. I see someone I can't identify yet, but who's on, and I don't know who it is because there's some numbers and letters, but mostly I've been able to identify almost everyone. Let's see. There was one coming in a telephone call. Let's try that one. See who that is. Okay, so on the telephone, 254, ending in 525. Could you unmute and tell me who you are?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, what is your name, please?
My name is Jessica Irwin, IRWIN.
Thank you, Miss Irwin. Okay, so here's the little complex part about the phone call. No problem with the phone call. Thank you, Mr. Blythe. I'll be right with you. With the phone call, just keep your ears open. What you can't see is I have about 12 people in the meeting, And you're not the last person. We'll get to you, and I'll say your name at that point. Now that I know who you are, Miss Irwin. Okay.
Okay, yes, no problem, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. We'll be with you soon. And I have another phone
Thank you.
caller. Thank you. I have another phone caller who just came in the meeting, and the phone number is a 254 number ending in 118. Can you unmute, please? Hello. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Stacy Romero Jimenez.
Thank you, Ms. Romero Jimenez. I do have you down now. And I just want to tell you the same thing. When you're on the phone, you might not necessarily see what's happening on the screen. Sometimes you can, if you can watch on YouTube, but we will be with you. I'll call your name out when it's your turn. So just be listening for that, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Romero Jimenez. And so I'm going to move forward. So guilty or no contest, I just want to talk a little bit about that. When you've pleaded guilty or no contest, I'm moving into sentencing. Normally that means paying those fines and costs, having it go on your record. But I want to talk to you, listen up, about 4 ways that are still available to gain a dismissal. That is to keep you from having a conviction on your record. I'll tell you what they are, then I'll briefly tell you how they work. Okay. So compliance dismissals, driver safety course options, removing violations, deferred dispositions, and team court. So compliance dismissals, there are certain things under Texas law that are designated that if you show up to court on time and you've repaired the problem, you can gain a dismissal. And if you have something like that, well, I'll start talking to you about those options, okay? You're welcome to ask me about it, but what you can assume is that I'm looking for that because it's easier. And I'm like you, I would like things to be simple if it's possible. The other thing I assume is that people have an interest in their money and they have an interest in their record. And so I'm looking to address those issues, but very upfront, very matter of factly. I don't really hide options because most of us represent ourselves in a court like this one. Some people do have lawyers today, and that is also fine. That leads me to the understanding you need to know that before you enter a plea, you have the right to meet with an attorney of your choosing. And if you meet with an attorney of your choosing, then what that means is, we might reschedule your case and give you an opportunity before I accept your plea. I want you to know too that I have reviewed all the paperwork that everyone has given me. Okay. And we can talk about each particular thing. So we'll be doing that as well. So just back to those 4 options for dismissal. The compliance dismissal, let me give you a concrete example. Let's say you're driving down the road, you put on your blinker, you make a turn, officer pulls you over and says, hey, you didn't signal before you turned. And you're thinking, I did though. And you and the officer figure out your blinker light is out. Okay. So that officer cites you for, not for failing to signal, but for a defective broken piece of equipment, the bulb. Okay. So you get the bulb fixed, you come to court on time, you show me that the bulb has been fixed, and you pay a $10 dismissal fee instead of the full amount of the ticket. So there's an example. There are about 14 of those in the traffic code. And you can ask me about it if you want to, but you can also assume that I'll be looking because the law there says the judge shall. So I will work on spotting those and talking to you about them. Mr. Mattson, you were talking with Ms. Ritz about James Platt, his case. Can I get a check-in from you both, Mr. Mattson? Where are we with regard to this case? And Ms. Ritz, I just go ahead and unmute too.
Your Honor, the citation for Mr. Platt will be dismissed, and I'll send that form over to the court sometime this morning.
Okay. All right. Ms. Ritz, is it okay for us to use the email that we scheduled the meeting for today with today?
Absolutely, Judge. Thank you.
Okay. We'll email, once he emails that to us, I will sign it, and then we'll email to you later this morning.
Wonderful.
And you'll have that for your file and your client. Okay.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes, Ms. Ritz, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Mr. Blythe, let me move you on forward into that meeting space. I'm assuming now that whatever was going on, you got it solved and things are good. So you and Yes, sir. You and Mr. Mattson will go on forward. And I did have someone check in. I don't know who it is. Let's see. It was just came in a moment ago. Well, maybe it didn't come in all the way. No, I'm not seeing anyone I can't identify. So I'm just going to keep talking for, I'm almost done. So compliance dismissals, that's option one. The second option is if you have a moving violation and you're on time to court and you have a Texas license and you're not a CDL holder, then every 12 months you have an option to gain a dismissal of a ticket. And I'll talk to you more about that if that looks like you're going to be eligible. But let me talk to you about how it kind of works. If you're eligible to be in that program, which I will determine with you, then we schedule a time today, if possible, to pay court costs. And then you'll have a 90-day window to bring back a driving record and your completion of a 6-hour driver safety course, which you can do around town or online. Now, let me talk to you a little bit about the court costs and all of that. So every ticket, no matter what it is, has a court cost and a fine. Now, if you call the clerk, and some of you may have, and said, how much is this ticket? They gave you a number. And that number was a whole number. They didn't break down fines and costs and where these things go, okay? Because it's complicated and most people don't want to know. They want to know the bottom line, right? But the law says we break those things down a few ways. The big breakdown is costs and fines. Now, costs are determined by the Texas state legislature, okay? That's a political thing that happens in Austin every 2 years, right? I can't change those. The fines are in a range, and then the judge sets the fine. That would be yours truly. So what happens with the driver safety course option is you have to pay the state legislature. You have to pay the court costs, okay? And the fine, I just put that fine on hold, okay? It just sits out over here. And then you get this window and you turn in your driving record, you turn in your course on time, you get a dismissal. It has to be the right record. It has to be the right course. Put it all in writing so that you know what to do, okay? And you get it turned in on time. I dismiss the ticket. The court costs go to Austin, basically, and the fine goes away. I just waive it, okay? Now you are paying for your record. It's going to run you anywhere from $10 to $14. The course is going to run you anywhere from $25 to $50, depending on where you go and what you choose to do. It's still cheaper to pay the court costs, the record, and the class than to pay the whole ticket. There's a reason why, okay? And I like to talk about this reason because basically the reason why we even have any of this is a public safety issue. And what we know is that if a person will take a driving course every 12 months, they just drive better. Just think about it like a surgeon, right? A doctor gets a license and then 15 years later, if that doctor hadn't had any more education, would you want them to cut you open? Probably not, right? So when people get a citation, what we know is they move into a risk category, and it's a higher category than a person who never received a ticket. That's just generally true for the either guilty or not guilty groups, okay? It's just everyone moves who gets a ticket into a higher bracket of death and dismemberment on the roadways. And unfortunately, Texas is a high-ranking state when it comes to being hurt. And so the driving safety course option is there to save you money and help you with your driving record. And also, this is important, make us all drive in a safer driving environment, including you. So that's what that is about, okay? And it's incentivized, we say that, to encourage people to take the class. And so just be aware that, you know, we're kind of pushing it a little, but if it's something you don't want to do, we're not going to force you. It's just, it saves you money and it keeps it off your record. Mr. Mattson, I've actually pushed Mr. Blythe back into the meeting. We're just waiting for that to actually happen. He's having a little trouble with his technology this morning. Okay, there we go. And so just going to pause again. Mr. Mattson, Mr. Blythe, if we could start with perhaps the Sanderson case, excuse me. And then after that, the Christensen case. What can you good gentlemen tell me about Sanderson first? That's a speeding charge.
Your Honor, for Sanderson, I'll be reducing the fine amount to $70.
Okay.
And Mr. Blythe will be entering a change plea of no contest, and he has requested 30 days to pay that fine total.
Okay. That is simple enough. Mr. Blythe, I'm going to mail you or email. Is email okay to do?
Yes, Judge.
We'll email the judgment over and the 30-day order to pay after we receive the reduction
Yes,
from
ma'am.
Mr. Watson. And we'll do that later this morning and
All
email
right.
you. On the Christensen case, it's a theft under $100. Mr. Matson, where are we with regard to that charge?
Your Honor, Mr. Blythe said he would just submit a change of plea form to no contest. I do have a question. I was under the impression that there had already been some money paid on this case in the amount of a bond, but I'm not seeing that on LT anymore.
Yeah, let me look and see.
I don't think it has been, Judge. He had 3 tickets in the beginning, 3 citations, and the money we paid was paid on a stop sign citation. We haven't paid anything on the
Okay.
theft case, so we owe the full amount.
Just one quick question. For what date was the judge? We did it. There should be a miscellaneous. Hold on one moment. I'm also checking a previous charge with him. I don't think it's going to help, but I'm just wanting to make sure that on oh, well, here we go. October 21. But see, this charge is May. So it actually is after the charge, right? Am I thinking right? Okay, this current one is May. Excuse me, I'm just doing the math in my head.
Okay.
Is May and the arrest is October. So he could have jail credit assessed. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I see some jail credit that you might not have been aware of, Mr. Blythe.
All right.
So actually half of that can be time served.
Thank you.
So 300, let's go 315 or $16. And then the balance is remaining will be 315.
All right. Thank you.
Does he need more than 30 days to pay?
No, 30 is fine.
Okay. Yeah, the new legislative rules, I know people have concerns about it, but the truth is it makes some things a lot more simple as far as like what options are available. So I will go ahead and time credit half of that, a little bit more, and allow that time credit to apply to this case as well. We didn't have a plea before, so we didn't do it. And then we'll send over that 30 days to pay option.
Right.
Okay, Mr. Blythe, you're good to go.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Blythe.
So then just to get back to the discussion, I know it's a one-way discussion, but the discussion we were having about the 4 dismissal options. So I've already covered compliance dismissals, covered driver safety course options. The third one is called a deferred disposition. Now the word really, it tells us what it means. Deferred means make it to delay, deferred, delay it. And disposition means to make it final. So I delay making the case final. Okay, so what happens is I delay making your case final. I put a court order in place that you sign. It tells you the steps you need to take to gain a dismissal. You can check those off as you go. If you do all the things listed on your document, your case is dismissed. Now, it means that you don't have a conviction on your record, okay? Let me tell you the secret handshake. People are always wondering, what are the things I need to know? What's the secret? And the secret is those first 2 options I talked to you about. I'm kind of walking you through those. With the deferral, you need to request it at the time that I accept your plea, preferably the time you enter the plea. But since you wrote your plea down and might not have understood the deferral option, you need to do it today though. So guilty or no contest, I'd like a deferred. It's that simple. I'd like a deferred. That's how you ask, okay? And it was on the sheet that you may have filled out, but again, people sometimes check it and sometimes they don't check it because they don't know what it is. So it's up to 180 days. Okay. During that time, we've got to sort out early in the case, getting everything paid. That varies from person to person. Everyone's circumstances are different. The second thing is you can't reoffend and have more charges. You also can't move without letting us know. We need to be able to reach you. You can't go to warrant or miss your court dates. Sometimes there's a class due. Sometimes there's a record due. Sometimes there's a certificate due. There might be some things, in other words, for you to do. But if you do those things, plus the other things I've described, and again, they'll be listed with deadlines, then your case is dismissed. Just remember, you have to affirmatively ask for that option. I'd like a deferred. You can ask the judge in a Class C court. In higher level courts, you must ask the prosecutor first. In this court, you may also ask the prosecutor or the judge. So those who are on the pretrial docket who are contesting their charge, you may also have that discussion with Mr. Mattson as well. On the fourth option for dismissal, that one is called teen court. And if you are in high school or middle school or the equivalent, I'll be looking to see if you want to do teen court. It looks a little bit like a deferred. The hallmark differences are the fees are lower because you're in high school or middle school. And we're looking maybe for a little bit of help from your parents, but not as much as if it was a deferred. And then there will be a little bit more for you to do to take responsibility for your actions, okay? So that we can properly move your case forward in a way that is designed to curb you from having to be back in court again. In other words, we want you to not reoffend, okay? For your record, for your health safety, okay? When we're talking traffic, we're talking about injury, we're talking about thefts and other types of Class C criminal offenses, we're talking about your record. So we'll be talking about those things. Those are the four options. And now we're going to move forward with the docket. Keep in mind when you're unmuted, it'll be your turn. And if you have questions, you may ask them, okay? Don't be shy just because, I'm a judge, just because the prosecutor is an attorney. Ask the questions you have. If we are not able to answer those questions because we have, for example, are not able to, because perhaps it's legal advice. We can't give legal advice. We can tell you how things move through a court. We can tell you the general answers to questions. What we can't do is apply the law to your case. But don't be worried if you don't know if you're asking the right kind of question, because we will tell you if it's a problem, okay? I will definitely speak up if it's something I'm not allowed to answer, okay? And I'll just explain, okay? So it's not a humiliation or a problem. It's just sometimes people don't realize that they can't ask a certain question. So now, Mr. Mattson, I'm moving you forward. Your next person is Matthew Bastine. And Mr. Bastine, I see you there. I'm moving you over to that room. When you're done, you'll be coming back into this room. You'll want to unmute. There you go. And I sent him over. He should be.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. You're welcome. Okay. And I am moving forward with Jasmine Arizmendez. Ms. Arizmendez, can you unmute? And and I just let someone in. I just kind of want to check in and make sure I know who it is, but they're just hopefully catching up with their audio. Okay. Sometimes that takes a while, so I'm just going to move on forward. I'm pulling up your file. So Ms. Arizmendi, I'm sorry, I said Arizmendez, it's Arizmendi. Ms. Arizmendi, hi, how are you this morning?
I'm good, Judge. How are you?
Thank you, I'm fine. I've reviewed everything you submitted, and I actually had a couple of questions of you. First, I noticed, let's see, it's a sale of tobacco to a minor. The fines and costs, if you paid it, are $296. If you were to be found guilty, that's the established fine right now. Is your plea guilty at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You also made a request there were two requests. One was for you asked for both community service and a payment plan. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. You also asked for an extension to get your Texas license, which this is not a license offense, although it is possible that being charged with this triggered some kind of suspension. I don't know. I'm not sure of that because that would happen on a different level when the police department took action. I'm not sure of that, but normally I wouldn't make a delay for that because it's not really related to the sentencing options that I have here. But I did notice a couple of things. Do you have any children? I noticed on your payment plan a couple things. Do you have
No,
children?
ma'am.
Okay. And then I just wanted to confirm. And then your rent was very low. Are you living with family or is that a roommate?
I live in a housing facility, housing.
Okay, I wondered about that too. Sometimes that's why it's low. So do you receive food stamps?
No, ma'am, not at the moment. I actually did try to apply for them.
Okay. So I just wanted to double check on all that. I actually, and then I noticed that your bills were all like even numbers. So I'm guessing those were estimates. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Because they were kind of low and I just wanted to see. Under other, you put $100. Is that like for gas for your car? What's going on with that?
Yeah, that's just gas and insurance to get back and forth from work.
Okay. That's what I wondered is how do you get to work? You have a vehicle that you drive?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a car payment?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm actually going to declare you indigent and order that you do community service for your balance. And it comes to 14 hours of community service, which would not be due until July 5th, that's 60 days. And then I need to get your signature on a document, and then there's a packet. And what's going to be in that packet is a list of places where you can do the work, the rules that I require that you follow, and you need to read those carefully and make sure you don't get off track, okay? And then a timesheet to keep track of your hours and have your supervisor sign, as well as you. And you've got to tell us where you went because we do call and we verify the hours, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'll need you to come by the court either this morning or this afternoon. When should we look for you to come in?
Anytime this morning is fine.
Okay, we should have that pretty ready soon. And so it should be ready before you get here, but we'll look for you sometime this morning, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Judge.
Thank you, ma'am. You're good to go, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Mr. Matson, I know you were talking with Mr. Bastin or Bastine, I'm not sure. Let me look. Oh, there, he's back in. So, Mr. Matson, where are we with regard to this matter?
This is being placed on deferral, Your Honor. It's going to be
Okay.
120 days with driver safety course due by the 60th day. And Mr. Baston said he would pay the full amount of the fine by the end of the week.
Okay. Let's see, that's going to be 6. Right. So I will sign off on that. Mr. Baston, there's 2 ways we can do this. You can come over and we can get your signature on the deferral and make a copy for you, or we can email it, but you'll have to be able to print it, sign it, and get it back to us either through fax or email. Which would you prefer?
Email would be fine, Your Honor. I can print it, sign it, and get it back to you today.
Okay. All right. We will do that through email. And that should happen later this month. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. You are good to go, Mr. Baston.
Thank you.
And Mr. Matson, your next person is Lisa Naranjo. Ms. Naranjo, are you going to be able to hold still for a few minutes? And
Yes,
been moving around a lot, but it's going to create a
I'm
lot.
sorry.
No, it's fine, but now you don't want to because it'll create a lot of interference. You know, it
Yes,
becomes
we're good.
like you can't hear, and cut in and out, stuff like that. So
No, we're good.
I'm going to move you forward. Thank you.
Sorry.
I'm going to move you forward. It's just a chip. I'm going to move you forward to the pretrial room. So moving that along, I'm then moving forward as well with Chrislyn Munoz, if you could unmute, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you this morning?
Good. How are you?
Thank you for asking. I'm very well. Let's see. I am just realizing I need to call the roll here in a second. And just 1 second. I see a lady, nice lady, Samsung. I know you're sitting in a car. Hi, could you just give me your name real quickly? I saw you log in and it took a little while for your audio to connect. So I just wanted to check in.
This is Amy Reed. How you
Oh,
doing?
hi, Miss Reed. I'm very well, thank you. Your hair is different from the last time that I saw you, ma'am. Okay, your
Okay.
turn is actually coming up pretty soon. Okay, Miss Reed?
Okay. So what do I need to do, Judge?
Well, you just hang out for a minute, and what's going to happen is you'll move over to that meeting with Mr. Matson, and then y'all will come back into this meeting. And I believe you're going to be next. So just hold tight for a few minutes. We'll unmute you again shortly. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Reed.
Uh-huh.
And so, Miss Munoz, there we go. We're back on it. So let me just pull your file. Okay, and so I did notice, and you're a senior, and you're over 17, you're 18, so I don't need a parent. But I did receive your plea of no contest on the speeding charge where the fines and costs were $254, and I did receive a request for teen court, which I will grant. With teen court, is that your plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and with teen court, there is a $20 fee. Can you pay that fee in cash today at the clerk's window?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then there'll be a class, a driver safety class, but it's going to be due relatively quickly. It will be due by June 7th. Okay, and we will give you some information for how to find a course. It's just like a driver safety course option, except that we're not getting a record and you're not paying the full court cost. But we want it back more quickly. It's not 90 days, it's 30. Okay. Can we look to do that? Are you interested?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you come in this morning or this afternoon?
This morning.
Okay. We'll have everything at the front desk for you and you'll sign and then it'll help you understand what you need to do. Just read it carefully, make sure you don't have any questions and we'll give you a copy. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. You're good to go. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And great. So then the next person I would like to talk to is Rocky Parker. Mr. Parker, can you unmute? Good morning. So there we go.
Hello,
Good
how you
morning.
doing today, ma'am?
How are you this morning?
I'm doing okay myself. How are you?
Thank you. I'm well. Is that your parent, your dad?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Okay. What's your name, sir?
Mark Knobloch. I'm actually Rocky's grandpa.
Martin, what's the last name?
Knobloch.
Montblock or Mount Block?
Knobloch. Knobloch. Knobloch.
Well, of course, I should just have known. So are you like standing in the place of his guardian, or are you his
I am his
guardian?
guardian. Yes, he lives here.
Okay, great. Okay. Law requires I have the guardian or parent. So
Yes.
we're good to go. Okay, so Rocky, I noticed a no contest plea was entered on a speeding charge with a balance of 254 and a request for teen court. I'm going to grant that request. But my first question before I do so is your plea no contest today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you understand what that means?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then with teen court, there is a $20 teen court fee, and that's a cash fee to the clerk's desk. Can we get that done today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then there'll be a class due June 7th. It's an online class or a class around town in driver safety. One of the reasons I push for that to be early in the game quickly is you're in the master group for death and dismemberment on the roadways of Texas.
Yes, sir.
Our young people die, unfortunately, at a higher rate than in any other state. And I just want you safe. I'm sure your grandfather agrees with me on that one. And so what I'm going to ask you to do is come by with him. I need his signature
Right.
because you're under 8. And you pay the $20 fee. You sign your document that says you have a course due. Go get it done online or around town. Turn it in, and I dismiss and waive the balance. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How does that sound for you both?
Good.
Sounds good.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And yet, what time are you coming? Morning or this afternoon?
We're gonna go over there this morning, so he can also get an excuse for school and all that.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And you can.
By
Yeah.
another hour or so, if there's nothing else we have to do with y'all, with you.
No, once you get that done, then it's just turning in the document.
Okay.
Okay. All right. No, that doesn't mean you wait till the due date. It means anytime before that. It's
Right.
possible. Okay.
Right.
Any further questions?
I don't have any.
Okay. And Rocky, do you feel like you understand what you need to do?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We'll see y'all here this morning. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. You're good to go. And then I am moving forward with Akid Habib. Mr. Habib, good morning. Let me let you know that you can unmute. So I sent you an unmute request and, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Edmondson, I accidentally sent it to you. Mr. Habib, can I have you unmute, please? Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you. How are you this morning?
I'm well, about yourself.
Okay, you are cutting out just a little.
I'm well, thank you. How about yourself?
Thank you. I'm fine. Hey, I received, we have warrants on all the cases, and it's just for a payment plan that didn't happen, didn't get completed. I have a couple of questions that I want to ask you. Maybe we can troubleshoot this and create a more successful outcome. Okay. So I can't do the deferral request because convictions were already entered the last time that we were together. It's just balances that we're trying to get solved. Okay. So the first question I have, just want to get a little clear on your payment application. I have Social Security and disability as the only sources of income at this time. Is that still true?
Yes, ma'am.
And what are those amounts?
Social Security is $1,200.
Okay.
VA is $4,200.
Okay, that's the VA. That 4, I couldn't read it. I wasn't sure, and I just wanted to be sure. The other question is, are there any children living in the home? And are you or is anyone in the home disabled?
I am, and my wife.
Okay. Without, I'm not trying to get into your health information, but I can order community service. Let me see. And I don't know offhand, just give me one moment. Can we see what the payment plan was before? Your request was for $75 a month. I actually can lower it to $25. You can always pay more and get done more quickly. But I'm showing that there should be an ability to take care of this and do the payments.
So my wife has cancer.
Okay.
And so there's things that health insurance doesn't cover that I have. So,
okay. Are you in payment plans for those kinds of issues? I know that can be overwhelming. I completely understand.
What I can, some of them don't want payment plans. They want the money, so even though the income looks like it's great, it comes in and goes right out. So it's but we've been trying to get this situation resolved for some time, and I need it resolved, and I need to know what I can do because with the distances that I have to transport, I need to have a valid license under my belt. And so that's my ticket at this point is the quickest way that I can get that um, uh, under control so that at least I can feel safe on the road.
Okay. Here's a question, and I meant to ask it earlier because these are old cases. And I ask everybody this. It's not about any one person. It's just that the law has changed since these took place. And do you have any jail time at all anywhere?
Yeah. It's only like a day here and a day there.
Was it here in the county? Was it the county jail?
Yes, Bell County and Colleen.
Okay, I'm going to pull, I have access to only look at the county record. And let me look real quickly and see if I can give you some jail credit. And let me just start there. I'm going to have a clerk do that. I'm going to put you on hold for a few minutes. I'm going to talk to a couple of other people and move them forward. And in the meantime, we're tracking that down for you. I'll be right back with you, okay? We can come to a solution, I promise.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hang in there. Hold on, I'll be right back. Mr. Matson, I know that you were talking with, excuse me.
Yes, Your Honor. I believe that she needs to be pulled back into the room.
Yes, let me do that. The iPhone should have let her. There we go. All right, so this, sorry, Naranjo and Mr. Matson. Mr. Matson, where are we with regard to these matters?
Your Honor, I have requested that Ms. Naranjo send in proof of compliance by the end of Friday. And if she does so, I will dismiss her tickets.
Okay, so I don't really get involved, Mr. Naranjo, at this point. What I do is just go ahead and schedule the case for June 1st at 3 o'clock. That's an in-courtroom appearance. If the case is dismissed before then by some agreement that you have with the prosecutor, then that obviously that scheduled date gets canceled. So you work with him to do what y'all have agreed to do. And then if it's still pending the day of the hearing, then we're here to try to sort it out at that point. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm planning to see y'all June 1st at 3 unless the case is otherwise.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And you're free to go.
All right. Thank you. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Mr. Matson, Ms. Reed is here, and I'm going to send her over to that room with you. Ms. Reed, you'll be in a meeting that's basically elsewhere in the internet, and then you'll come back into this room, okay? You got a virtual room. And you and Mr. Matson, who is the prosecutor, will be talking. Okay, she's moved on over. And
Thank
let
you,
me
Your Honor.
just, thank you. On Mr. Okay, Mr. Habib, we're still working on it. I won't forget, but I'm going to move forward and I'll be right back with you. I'm going to talk to Jessica Irwin. Miss Irwin. There you are. There you go. Hi. So
Hi, how
I
are
did,
you?
yes, hi. So I did review everything that you submitted to the court, and I wanted to just kind of check in. I know you've gotten a new job, but I also know just from looking at kids' family single income, it's probably the case. I mean, I'd go ahead and order community service unless you wanted to do a low payment. But let me back up before we get there. And just let me tell you that there's a speeding charge from March 21st. And if you paid that ticket, it is $254. And you entered a written plea of guilty. And I'm about ready to accept that plea. But is that your plea at this time?
Yes and no. So
I can't
But
really
when
do a
I
yes
had-
and no. So let me just
Um,
kind of talk to you. Let me talk to you just for a minute before you continue. I'm not trying to be rude, but if you decide you're
fine, ma'am.
if you decide that you're contesting the case, then I need to not have you talk about it because I can't listen and throw cases out. If you don't agree, then we schedule trial. So we would need to move you into a different process. If you're pleading guilty or no contest, I'm moving forward with sentencing. I do also want to tell you that your on-time report, and I have a few more questions about whether you're qualified to do a driver's safety course. So now with that all said, what did you want to tell me?
Well, when I got pulled over for going 7 miles over. And
Yeah, they
when
do
I
that
got,
sometimes.
whenever I got the paperwork, it said I was going 12 miles over.
Okay. Do you want to contest that and go for trial? What are you trying to do?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then we need to change your
honestly,
plea. No, stop for a minute.
honestly, yes, ma'am.
So here, what I'm going to tell you again is I can't talk about the case if you're contesting it. And we're dangerously close to that happening. And I need you to stop and understand that if you've got issues, concerns, or you don't want to plead no contest or guilty because you think a jury or a judge would find you not guilty, or you think the state can't prove their case, or you just want a trial. You don't have to tell me the reason. Okay. You get a trial if you want a trial, but I need to stop the conversation and move you onto the pretrial docket. So that's available May 19th. It's a Zoom meeting, and you can vet those questions with the prosecutor. That's the proper person to do that. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I just need to get your signature on that reset. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Is that going to be sent to me or?
Yeah, we will email that to you, the date, with a link, and you'll be back on Zoom for that.
Okay. Thank you,
I'm
ma'am.
just making a note that we changed the plea to not guilty and scheduled a pretrial for May 19th. And we will send that link to you, and it'll go to the email that we used for this meeting. Will that work?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll send that to you. Okay.
Okay, and May 9th, and then what time?
May
would that-
19th. It's May 19th at 9:00.
May 19th at 9 o'clock. Okay,
Yes.
thank you so much, ma'am. I appreciate you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Okay. All right. So, Mr. Habib, I'm going to ask you to unmute again.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Oh, I see. Okay. So I'm checking on a couple of things. When was it in 2013? Okay, I'm checking your jail record, and give me a moment. I'm comparing it, seeing what I can do. Let's see. Okay, I can time serve him all of his cases. Okay, and then I just need to know what are the remaining on me, please. There's one obvious case. Okay, so I can time serve you all of the underlying balances. There are 9 cases. That's going to be a significant amount of money just taken off the top. My next thing that I have to do though is, and a clerk is going to work on this for us, is to figure out there are some fees that can't be time served, and those are going to need to get paid. And I'll give you that number here in a few minutes. We're working on that. Okay.
And so everything that I had is it at a point of conviction, or is it possible to have my record cleared?
So those convictions were all entered back in 13, 14, 15 in there. Hold on just a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah, so what this says is I mean, I know what it says, and I fully understand that he's not in the so I can't waive them all. I'm trying to find out what he still owes. Okay. I might be able to waive some of those, but I'm not sure that I can waive them all. And I need to know what they are. Okay, so Mr. Habib, I need you to hold tight a few more minutes. We're working on what is going to be the final amount that is owed in order to release your license, okay? Mr. Habib, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate whatever you do, because
Yeah.
like I said, the situation's kind of dire right now.
Well, and the thing is, some things have changed since then. And so I'm not entirely sure. I'm just trying to run it down. I just don't know yet which ones. And so I need to see what they are, because I don't know if we charge the old fee or the new fee. That's another issue, because don't we charge the new fee? Conviction's already been entered, so we don't. Okay, I'm there. I found you finally. Okay, I'll be right back with you, Mr. Habib. Miss Irwin, I've done that case. And so the next one is Stacy Romero Jimenez. Miss Romero Jimenez, can you unmute? Good morning. Ms. Romero Jimenez, can you unmute? There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Sorry.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I can hear you. And so I did receive everything that you gave the court. So I didn't have any questions, but it's a speeding charge from April 4th of 2022. The fines and costs are $259. And you wrote to me that you were entering a plea of no contest. Is that your plea at this time?
Yes.
Okay, I do need to walk you through one more thing before we get to, you're on time for court. You have a regular license. Is it a Texas license now? We have a California license, but.
No, I'm working on getting my Texas license, but I still have a California.
Okay, that's fine. So I did show that you're qualified for me to go ahead and order community service instead of payment. And if we do that, it would be 13 hours. It would not be due until July 5th. What do you think?
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Okay, I need to get your signature, and I need to give you some documents that will tell you the rules, the requirements, the places where you can go, the places you can't go, and a timesheet. And I need you to sign for it. Can you come by this morning or this afternoon?
I can come by this afternoon.
Okay, we will look for you this afternoon, and then you will have a due date of July 5th, okay?
Oh, yes. Is it the same place where we would pay the ticket? Is that where we go to get the paperwork?
Or you spoke so fast that it just, whatever the background noise is, it drowned you out.
I'm sorry. I'm at my child's field trip. Wait, so I just come to the same place where we pay the ticket to get the paperwork?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes, I can be there this afternoon.
It'll take you about 10 minutes, okay?
Okay.
All right, we'll see you then.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Mr. Matson, I'm moving Ms. Reed back over.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Look at them. Still working on it. It's not pushing her back.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. So Miss Reed and Mr. Matson, where are we with regard to Miss Reed's charge of no shelter?
Your Honor, I told Ms. Reed that if she submits the necessary paperwork by the end of the month, I will dismiss her ticket.
Okay. So Miss Reed, I don't really get involved at this point. I schedule your final pretrial for June 1st at 3:00. And if the case is not dealt with, dismissed by then, we'll need to see you in the courtroom. Okay. And then if you bring something for him to consider, you can bring it to the court and we can scan it into the file for him to review. Okay. So he'll be looking at the date y'all agreed. He'll look like the next day. So if you bring it here, we can give it to him, or if you have another way that you're taking it to him, well, then do it that way. Whatever y'all have agreed to. I don't want to get in the middle of that. But if we don't have it resolved by June 1st at 3, we'll see you here to try to straighten things out. Okay. All right. You've been nodding, but I couldn't hear you, but I did. It feels like we understood each other. Are you good?
Yes, ma'am. How
Okay.
you been doing?
Thank you, ma'am. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
You stay safe.
Thank you. You too. Stay well.
I will. I'm trying.
Oh, yes, ma'am. That's right. We do our best.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye, Miss Reed.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Actually, Mr. Matson, you had 100% show up rate, and that was your last person. So you are good to go.
All right, Your Honor. Before we conclude,
Yes.
I do want to let you know, just really quick, I got a appearance letter from Bell County yesterday. That is a final no reset. It's for Nicole, but it's to me now. So I may have to briefly step out at 10 o'clock on Thursday for another video call,
I see. Mhm.
but it's just for a plea bargain on record, so it shouldn't take longer than a couple minutes.
Thank you for letting us know. I know what happens there is they like we do, they put you on a hold room and they don't bring you in until it's your turn. And so you might be able to simultaneously, I see lawyers doing that. I think you can probably log in there and see it come on screen and just say, I'm stepping out, and I'll know what that means. And you do it. And then I'll explain to everyone that you're dealing with what's happening.
That sounds perfect. That is my plan, and hopefully it will be as seamless as you just described it.
Yeah, I hope so too. Okay, very good. Thanks for letting us know
Yes, ma'am.
so we can plan. I just want to check. That's not the day we have the interpreter. That's the day we have the interpreter. I'm planning to take that first.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So you should be done by then on that one. If it all goes well. Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Yep. That's all we can do.
Thank you,
So
Your
I'm
Honor.
prepared and then let it go where it goes. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Habib, let me get you back on for just a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
So I just need to kind of go back over your financial situation. And I'm sorry, I've got to get a little personal, but I just have to, because I'm trying to help your situation. So would you say that you've experienced an undue hardship due to your wife's health conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm so sorry to ask this question, but as a cancer victim myself, I do know what I'm asking you. I don't want to hear all about, your wife's health conditions, but just in terms of the bills, what kind of level of hardship are we talking about there? Like, are you in the thousands? What's going on with that?
Yes, ma'am. We're in the thousands, because the medication, some's covered by insurance, some is not, or at least the copay portion. Sometimes it's, she's got to have it. She's got liver cancer. And so the medicine is just expensive. Sometimes the travel is expensive, the distances that we have to travel. So, yeah,
Are you
definitely.
having to see an out-of-town specialist? Are you having to see an out-of-town specialist?
Yes, ma'am.
Has the hospital made any provisions to try to help connect you to services?
Say that one more time.
Has the hospital made any provisions to try to connect you to services?
Kind of a hit and miss, but a lot of it is, you have to see the income and not apply for the services that are available.
Okay. All right. So actually, Mr. Habib, I'm going to waive the remaining amounts.
Thank you.
And what's going to happen then is I will waive the hold on the license. If I'm the only hold, that should clear your license pretty quickly. That said, that's going to take about 20 days to clear. And to look and see if it's cleared, you look on the website for the state of Texas, their DPS website, and to look for that, to see that it's cleared. You go to their failure to appear website to check on that. And that's where you want to look to see that's where you want to look to see if it's cleared.
So
you're cutting out pretty.
Can you hear me now? Okay, how about that? Is that better?
I've been able to hear you, but I'm piecing together information. It's kind of, puzzling out. So, and movement will do that, So what I'm trying to ask you is, if you don't, or tell you, is that if you don't know how to get your license back, I have some information that you can come pick up at the clerk's desk. I am recalling your warrants today. I'm time serving you your underlying balances, and I'm releasing the hold on your license.
Thank you, Your Honor. I surely do appreciate you. I feel like an angel visiting me right now.
Great. Okay, so do you want to come by and get that information?
Is there any way that it can be emailed or mailed to me? I'm in Killeen right now.
It's a pretty hefty packet, but my clerk is nodding that yes, she can email it to you. It'll be in a PDF.
Okay. Okay. Oh, email. Okay, fantastic.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Habib.
Thank you. And so before you go, so failure to appear the website, and I've been looking license eligibility, and that's they're sending me to that anyhow. So
yes.
Okay. And
so I should be listed there as the Temple Municipal Court, and you'll watch your cases move to closed. And once they've all closed, you're done with us. We'll send that today or tomorrow, but it takes them about a month to clear it. And then, if you have any other courts, you need to resolve those. But you're not getting new convictions. So what we're doing today is just clearing you up. It shouldn't trigger anything additional on our end. Okay.
There's a weight lifted off my chest.
Yeah. Well, it was a considerable weight. I get it. I get that. Okay. All right. You're good to go, Mr. Habib. We'll email you the information.
I sure do appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that. Thank you. You too. Bye-bye. Mr. Edmondson, I know you've been waiting patiently. I just wanted to, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
How are you this morning? You okay? Going through a lot right now? It's gonna be okay. You can do it. You can. I want to talk to you a little bit about your cases, and I'm just going to pause and let you tell me when you're ready. Okay? No rush.
Gotta go on the door. You gotta go on the door.
Up to see. Up to see.
You're sick.
Yes, ma'am. As I took out the ticket, to see.
Okay. What can you tell me what your illness is?
And school. School.
Stroke.
Yes, ma'am. I have a
Okay.
stroke.
Okay. Well, listen, where are you? Are you in a facility? And it sounds like there's somebody there with you.
Yeah.
Can they get, can you get on screen?
Oh, he's back in the temple now.
Okay. Is he with family? Somebody taking care of him? Okay. Okay. So, Mr. Edmondson, I am accepting your pleas. You had pleas entered of guilty. Okay. And due to your health situation, I'm going to waive your fines and costs today. So while I'm accepting your guilty pleas and finding you guilty, and then your fines and costs, I'm erasing them. I'm waiving those because I don't think you can pay it. I know you can't pay it. Okay. And there's a good reason why you can't pay it. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to take that into account and go ahead and waive those fines and costs so that you're not burdened, being stressed out, worrying about those. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I will zero out your balance and recall your warrants today. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank
Okay.
you.
And who's with you? Is it family?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you wife? Are you daughter? Who am I talking to?
His cousin.
My cousin, my friend's cousin.
Okay, your friend's husband. Cousin.
Yes. Yes,
First
ma'am.
cousin. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yes, ma'am.
First cousin. Got it.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know her name, but thank you for being here and helping Mr. Edmondson. And I'm so sorry I didn't realize there was a health issue. I would not have kept you on the meeting this long, although it's not been a long meeting, but still, I just want to let you know, I'm waiving your fines and costs. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. You're good to go. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and remove him from the meeting. And I'm going to end the meeting since we are done.